Welcome to the table. I am so excited that you're here. See, the table is a place where history is created. It's a place where there's conversations and there is connection made. So I want to invite you, pull up a chair. If you're driving, settle in and welcome to the table. I have saved a seat just for you. So let me introduce myself. I'm Natalie Taylor. I am a wife. I am a mom. I am 1 foot out the door of being an empty nester. So any of you out there that are empty nesters, I'm coming for you. Fun fact, I've known my husband since I was 5. He's 10 years older than me. We've been married for years. It's a cool story I'll tell you one day. I'm a PK kid. I've been in ministry all my life. And another fact about me, I've actually struggled with being accepted for all of my life. And it's something that I've wrestled with. But you know what? What I have found is that I am the most secure, that I am the most alive when I actually have someone sitting at my table with me. When I've invited someone into my space and I have allowed them to see me and I can see them. So I'm excited and I want you to know that I see you. These episodes are designed for you to become fully alive and for you to know that you're seen. So how did I come up with the table? I'd moved from Arkansas to Texas. We have moved in our marriage, oh my gosh, probably 20 times. So another move, even cross country, wasn't a thing for us. So I moved into a new home. And with any new home, you have new spaces. Well, I had to get a dining room table for my kitchen area. And, I was balling on a budget, but I've got style. So I went to Facebook Marketplace and I started looking through all of the ads. And I looked for, honestly, weeks to find the perfect table to fit my space. I knew exactly what I wanted, a little weathered, round pedestal, the whole thing. Well, I found one and it was cheap. So I immediately messaged the lady and I was like, is the table available? I want to come get it. She said yes. I went to go pick up the table and I'll never forget exactly what she said. She said, I hope and I pray that you have as many good conversations around this table that I have had with my family. And it was something that marked me and it just hit me. Have you ever experienced something that someone said and it feels like it hits you right in your chest? And I thought, whoa, it kind of felt like she was like handing down something to me that felt magical, honestly. And so I carried it to the car and I thought, what's going to happen around this table? Because I feel like history's already been made. So we put the table in the house, and this table, like so many other tables, it held books. We had breakfast around the table. I decorated the middle of the table. We had gatherings. The table probably sat about maybe 5 or 6 people. And so it was always a smaller, more intimate setting around the table. So it was something that we used every day. We had like an official dining room table. It was in the dining room. But this one was more intimate. This one is the one that we used every day. So it was really casual. But like I said, it had sometimes it held the mail. Sometimes there was one time I remember that I had candles and I lit the candles on the table. And it was a time that just my husband and we had a little romantic date. My kids did homework around the table. I remember when my daughter was getting ready to go to prom, we gave her a gift around that table. But I remember specifically one time around the table and we had a really hard conversation. See, my daughter, who is now thriving, and one day you're going to get to meet her as well, was in a bit of a teenage pinch, I should say. And she was into some things that was actually wreaking havoc in our family. And her personal choices were beginning to affect our entire family. So John and I, my husband, we had to have a really hard conversation with her around that table. And I'll never forget, at that moment, my husband actually was weeping. The idea of having to tell his daughter something that was really hard, which was, if you don't change what you're doing, you're going to have to move out. She was 17 years old, almost 18, and we knew that changes had to be made. It was a hard conversation. I was sitting in another chair, and I was actually angry. I was so mad, which goes against my normal character of who I am every day, but I was furious. Couldn't even think straight. My daughter was sitting in another chair, and I remember the look on her face, and her arms were crossed, and she was just, I would categorize it as rebellion. Full on rebellion. She didn't care what we said, how we said it. She didn't want to hear any of it. But I remember her looking across the table at my husband, and as he's weeping and expressing to her how his heart is actually broken for what she's doing to herself and then what it's doing to her family. And that it was the hardest conversation he had ever had. And it was something that as a parent, if you've ever been in that place that you think, I never want to get to this place with my child. And we couldn't believe that we were there. And so as he's explaining what her options were, I remember she began to melt across the table, and the angry, arms crossed, rebellious, almost this like, fight me. Have you ever seen somebody's like, gloves off, come on? Like that began to just kind of melt away, and she began to listen to what we were having to say. And so when I think about the table, what I realized is too many times we think about the table. And when I say the table is made up of history, it's made up of conversations, that I think what we remember are the hardest parts around the table. But what I want us to do and what I want us to reframe is actually your table, your literal table, your life represented as a table, is created of a million small conversations. See, that table that held our mail, the table that we had breakfast around on a Saturday, the table that we actually celebrated birthdays at, the table that sometimes we sat at as a family, and let's just all be real, you have the TV playing in the background, nobody says a word to one another, just the casual, common, everyday experiences. Those experiences created a foundation for us that enabled us to weather the storm of the hardest conversation we've ever had and that we've ever had since then. So I want you to rethink the table. I don't want you to think of this as simply a celebration and as like you look back at your life and you're like, yeah, my table, and it's created of these major milestones and these heightened emotions, because when we do that, we are either waiting for a heightened celebratory moment, or we're stuck in the trauma of a devastation, and we forget about all of the common, everyday conversations that happen in our life that are actually creating a foundation for you today. So you are who you are today because of the million conversations that you had. Think about all of those conversations that you've had with people in passing. The little things that you hear on the radio or that you watch on television that just that sink in and that mark you. Think about those things. So as we're together and as we navigate the next little bit through all of these episodes, these are going to be simple conversations that my desire is that at the end of this, that you're going to say, whoa, something hit me right here. Just like the lady said, when I went to go pick up that table that was in my dining room, the round table that I found on Facebook Marketplace, that she said, I hope and I pray that this table, that you have as many good conversations around this table that I have had. So that's my desire for you. So here's what I want you to do. Here is my call to action. I want you to go out and I want you to find someone to come sit at this table with you. Because remember, the best version of yourself is not alone. It's with community and it's with family. the best version of me, the time in my life when maybe I have felt the least seen, and when I have felt this sense of struggling with acceptance, the thing that I needed the most was someone to come sit at my table with me. I want you to go out and I want you to find someone and I want you to invite them to this table with you. So if this video has been helpful, I encourage you, like, comment, subscribe, share it on social media. I would love to meet you. I would love to know who you are. What does your table actually look like? Send me a picture, put it in the comments below, and I will comment back. So I can't wait to be with you the next time with you and your friend at the table.